All right, y'all. Welcome to the Reality or Not podcast with Ed. Big Ed, how you doing today?
All right, man. Chilling. What about you?
Doing pretty good. Just taking it casual on this Sunday, trying to relax, just chill out. How's everything been going for you for the week?
Work, all that little good stuff. You know, nothing major. What about yourself?
It's been up and down, trying recording podcasts and coursework and just balancing energy. It's been nice in Atlanta. It's been around like 60 or 70 degrees this week, so it's been good. My mom said like in the Michigan area is a little bit colder. Not sure what the weather is over there on the Detroit side.
Yeah, just cold. Uh, but it got up to I think 30 or 40 one of these days. So
Okay.
Michigan is cold. So
Cool.
at least it's snowing.
Cool. All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into it. I want to talk about some NBA stuff. It might be a little bit NBA heavy on this podcast, but it was just a lot of things that was happening within the past couple weeks, the past 2-3 weeks that's been going on. So, let me ask you this first question. How do you feel about Luka in LA?
Uh, Seems like it'll be okay. I haven't seen any of his games yet, but I mean, I think Luca will be Luca. I think. Looking back on the trade now, I think it's only been a couple of weeks, but I think Luca probably is going to help be their franchise player after LeBron leaves. I see I think, in the fifth spot right now. Could
No, they
maybe get up
third.
to the second
They third.
spot, third.
They third in the West.
Okay,
Yeah, they third in the West right now.
okay. Yeah,
Um,
I know that.
and then they play some heavy hitters too. I forgot who they played yesterday, but it was two West Coast teams. But they played the Clippers today, and it's weird. The how many games left? Maybe like 20 or 30. They got, like you said, they got the chance to get to the second seed, which should be crazy because if I don't know, the matchups in the West are gonna be interesting. With
Right,
you have Golden State that's like at 7 right now, but then you just have like some lower seeded teams that have the capacity to be a higher seeded team, if that makes sense. Like no one expected,
right,
your Memphis or I mean, people expect OKC to be good,
right,
but they're still young. But
right.
you got Houston,
Yep.
and all of those teams are rounding out, the top four, top five seeds. So it's just going to be interesting to see that Western Conference playoff series. I don't know how I feel about the East though. I'm curious to hear your opinion because you got Cleveland number one, you got Boston number two, New York number three. Them the top three that I could think of right now. But how do you feel like the East could shake out?
No, it'll probably come down to uh, Boston and Cleveland. Um, those are probably the two best in the West. New York's probably on the outside. Um, I think Detroit is in the fifth or sixth spot right now,
Yeah, they're in the
which
sixth,
they
almost to
probably
the fifth.
won't. Yeah,
I
so
think they could do some stuff
uh,
though. I like a team that got belief, man. Like it's it's unique. It's good for the city, and it's good to see Detroit. I mean, because everybody's would have all these excuses, not excuses, but they would say these things on, why Detroit, is struggling, blah blah blah. But to see them flip it and to have, I want to say similar success because they're having more success in the NFL, but to see the Lions doing good, and then to see the Pistons, in the playoff run is good in itself.
right, yeah, no, but I think the East. I mean, I really don't believe in Milwaukee. I think it's gonna come down to Boston or Cleveland. Like I said, New York might have an outside. New York's probably like third, but I mean, they might be able to catch Boston or Cleveland slipping. But I don't know about a 7 game series if they will.
Yeah. I had belief in New York. Not that I would believe that they would win it, but they just look
Right.
real. They look really good early. I mean,
Yeah.
I still I can't you can't put it past Boston. Boston just even though they're the second seed, you don't have to have the best record to be able to win it all. But they just look like if everybody's not hurt on every team
Right.
and no injuries aside, I still pick them to come out on top.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
They just got some. They got
um,
a strong ass bench. Look. They just look really good. So
yeah. Yeah.
the thing about the Lakers is really good that they're starting to they're meshing early with Luca, which is good. Like Luca is a I like, not to say I didn't see that it was gonna work well. It's just how much LeBron can play off the ball with Luka. Because I never really like Cleveland was good, but I never liked the watch one-on-one player. Like, okay, LeBron has the ball, so we take the offense off, or Kyrie has the ball, so we take the offense off. Like sometimes it felt like it could be ball stoppers, but I still think that they had a really good team to be able to figure out one of the championships. But
Right.
it's just I didn't want that same thing to be for Luka, but Luka seems to be he's one of those type of, well, he's a generational player for one, and I still don't understand that trade, but he's just one of those players that seems to be able to fit in and still dominate, which is dope.
Exactly.
You don't really have too many players that do that. So but we'll see. I mean, how do you feel about AD? Because AD got hurt the first game he played for Dallas. I think it's a groin strain, but it's just like, because people were, they were what you call them, coffins and stuff like that outside of the stadium for Luka. Like, why did y'all trade him? And Nico, like, what were you thinking with this trade? So do you think that it'll work out to ever being a fair trade for Dallas / Lakers? Oh, for Dallas, I guess, in that scenario. So
no, not if AD is AD, who always gets hurt. Like, you need to probably win at least one championship. I would say you probably need to win 2 championships to make this trade seem like it was worth trading a generational talent and all the stuff like that. They still saying, like, it was the Luka out of shape and things of this nature. But like somebody said, like, if Luka out of shape, look at the numbers he's putting up now. Like, Luka, I think going to the Lakers. Yeah, I think going to the
last year, it wasn't like, just last year he was just in the finals. I mean, it wasn't
right.
Whatever shape he's in, you still got to figure it out. Whether you got to, send him to a strength coach, or you got to, I don't know, take the beer out of his hand like Michael Finley. It's just, it's like you can figure it out, and it's like, and not to say that you would have to threaten that you would trade him, but at least, let him know that he's in the mix again. Like, no one knew of this trade. This is one of the trades that was not expected, or not. No one saw it, coming down the pipeline, which is, you're trading a 25-year-old. I think he's a 5 all NBA player, something like that. So from 20 to 25, he's, like, since he came in the league, he's been killing it. So.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I think if AD gets healthy, but that's always been AD's whole career. If he get healthy, so you would have traded your generational talent for an injury-prone player. It don't. When you look at it that way, it really don't make sense. Like, you got to win at least one championship. Like I said, you probably got to win 2 though.
Yeah,
to make you feel like it evens out.
Yeah, or at least win, because I feel like the Lakers. Not to say that they're championship ready right now. Honestly, if Rui, I'm not a fan of Rui Hachimura, just because I think he's a good player, but he's one of those players that he's like J.R. Smith in my opinion. Like, when he's playing with another team, he'll either get you 22, 24 points one game, and then next game he'll get you 6. It's like it's not consistent.
That's Luka's on 25, so their window was much larger than what the Mavs is. The Mavs probably have like a 3 or 4 year window. You got Luka. You probably, if he's only 25, you probably got 7-8 year window. Like, and it's the Lakers. Like, you'll be able to attract free agents. You'll be able to make moves that, like, people will come to play with Luka. Like, once LeBron, like, moves on and retires, they'll probably bring in another superstar. But Conway, the Lakers, like, you'll be able to bring, I think, solid role players around Luka that, like, well, will the Lakers win the championship in the next couple of years? No, maybe not. But if you're the Lakers, you're looking at this like 4 or 5 years down the line. You have your next franchise player. Like, and you can build around Luka. And so I think I don't think Dallas has that large of a window. But now, like I said, AD gonna be AD. So
yeah, AD is dope when he's like, look, I would put, if AD can stay on the court in a season for 60 games and manage that's 3/4 of the season, and he can manage to play the entire playoffs, Dallas is a tough out. Like Dallas is a tough team to beat. They have all of the pieces, in my opinion, you know, whether it's outside shooting, whether it's rebounding, ball handling, interior defense. I think they really have a pretty good team with Lively and Christie and, of course, Kyrie. You know, and I mean, Clay, you know, I haven't checked his numbers like this year, but he's shooting a lot better than when he first got there. I know that. But you know, it's just they have a pretty good team on paper if AD can play 3/4 of the season.
Yeah, but he rarely plays 3/4 of a season, so
at all.
I mean,
so wait, speaking to that, how do you feel about Zion? Like Zion Williamson?
Just eats a lot of beignets.
I mean, do you think so? It's weird to me when I hear about, you know, like I feel like Zion is a generational talent, but I feel like he's not. Well, I feel like he's a I want to say potential generational talent, but he has the potential. When he's on the court, he's an all-star. He's damn near, he's a superstar.
How often is he on the court?
That's the thing. I had looked at some number. I think it's like 25% of the, like within the past 3 or 4 years. And it's like, what do you do with him? Like if you're New Orleans, what do you do with Zion? How do you say, well, you know, I don't know, you have to do this, you have to do that, we have to trade you? Like what should New Orleans, in your opinion, do with Zion where they're currently at?
I was trying to look at his numbers. Man, if you can get something for him, I'll trade him. It's too, like, I'm looking at, he's been in the league. I think this is his 5th year. So he played 70 games last year, but then he got hurt in the playoffs, I believe. He had 61 his second season. So look like Zion, like, he's played 22 so far this season. I don't know if he's back yet. But, like, so Zion looked like every other year he's missing more than half of the season. Who was that? My man, I think he used to coach for the Colts, Herman something, where he was, like, talking about somebody. Yeah, he was like, they are who we thought they were. Like, sometimes, like, Kawhi, Anthony Davis, Zion, this is who they are. They're injury prone. Like, and if you're New Orleans, if you could get something for him, then move him. If you can't, just let him play his contract out. But I want to give Zion a max. I'm gonna give him like a megastar contract, like, or I think like what Luka is up for, like that 345 or something like that. Like whatever I want to give him the super max. I probably want to give him the max. Like he needs
check it real quick. I think he already got the max. I think he got the rookie extension max.
I mean, yeah, he probably did, but I mean, don't mean that they should have. But that's going to be that you would have given him this max, and then now you're going to want to move him, and now you're going to have a big ass contract on your hands, similar to like Miami trying to move Jimmy Butler. You got to at least play, man. It's the same knock I put on Kawhi. Like, at least Kawhi got like his teams. He got the Spurs a championship. He got Toronto a championship, but he's not bringing a championship to the Clippers. I hear you, like generational talents, but like you gotta be on the floor though. Like you gotta produce. Like Zion does nothing. Like Zion is the New Orleans Pelicans aren't significantly better since they drafted them. Like
they made the playoffs. I mean, when he's on the court. Yeah, if when he's on the court, yeah.
But if it's worth 5th,
yeah. I mean, they made the playoffs. I mean, they like when him and Ingram got traded, but when him and Ingram, you know, they were both all-stars in that one year. You know, when they made it to playoffs, it's like when they're on the court, you know, because I look at it like it's a business, right? So you got to think like, well, if you trade Zion, what could you get for him? If I had to guess, I would say he's between like 25 and 35 million just because of the rookie extension. But when he's on the court, fans want him. like fans love him. It's almost like trading Vince Carter. Like not that Vince Carter was way more durable and a better player at the time, but it's like you trade your star power to only watch, I don't know, thinking from Toronto perspective. Now you're only looking at Morris Peterson, MSU alum, but like it was Vince Carter's team. Like Vince Carter made people pay attention to watching the Toronto Raptors. So honestly, outside, CJ McCollum, because I remember the trade. And then Brandon Ingram, he got traded to Toronto at the trade deadline, but I can't think of nobody else on New Orleans team except Zion. Like not to say that there's no other players I can, but when I think of New Orleans, when I think of the Pelicans, I think of Zion. So it's like, well, how do you protect that?
Then you treat it as a business and accept that you're not going to win games.
Yeah. I mean, because look at it like this, and this is interesting. Look at Cleveland right now, because people, look at Cleveland with LeBron and without LeBron. Like somehow they still, their organization can still get to players having some form of success, moving forward. Like they have the best record in the league right now. It's like that's, but they still don't have that player that's going to make you, like people would tune into Cleveland more with LeBron than without LeBron, even if LeBron was losing in Cleveland, if that makes sense. It's just interesting to see teams.
LeBron also played more than a quarter of a season.
Yeah.
At least ticket holders knew that like LeBron was going to probably be playing. Do ticket holders in New Orleans really know if like Zion going to be playing?
That's the thing. I would be pissed as a fan if I got to the game and it was like, well, Zion's not playing for the next 2 weeks, but I'm saying that's what got me to buy the ticket in the first place, though. Like, are you buying the tickets, or are you a fan based off of hoping that Zion will play, or are you just not going to buy the tickets at all if Zion's not there?
I don't know. I mean, I hear you. I mean, like I said, if they want to treat it as a business, then they just know that like they probably won't. They'll probably be towards the bottom of the West while they have Zion on the contract. If they're not gonna make a move to make the team better, then they'll just be where they're at. And we always got to have some bottom dwellers in the NBA. They can just be the bottom dwellers. The Clippers were the bottom dwellers for years. So if they want to be bottom dwellers and hopefully still like sell tickets on the hope that Zion's gonna play, I mean that's fine. Like one less team for the Pistons to worry about.
Yeah. I mean, so speaking of the Clippers or players that used to play for the Clippers, what do you think about Paul George out in Philly? Or even what's his name? The center. I can't think of his name right now. I'll think of him in a second. But well, how do you feel about Philly's team right now? Because they are literally, I think they're 12th. They're nowhere near the playoff range. But Paul George had mentioned that the one thing he stopped doing his podcast, and he said the one thing that he wants to do is work towards bringing Philly a championship. So how do you feel about him? And then Embiid, that's the name. How do you feel about him? Then how do you feel about what's going on with Embiid?
Paul George ain't bringing Philly no championship. He might as well stick to his podcast. He do a better job at that than he do on the court right now. Like Embiid, I don't know. But they shut Embiid down for the year, so I don't know. But then I saw something where they said that like if Embiid can't come back in a year and he's forced into a medical retirement, then I guess they would file for a medical retirement to get his contract off the books. I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know if he's that seriously hurt that they are contemplating that he might not play again. I think Philly's just, if Embiid can't stay healthy, and I think Paul George is just, I don't know. Paul George won't be the one to bring you a chip. It'll be Tyrese Maxey playing a big role in that. Like, Paul George, I don't even know what his numbers are. Paul George just doesn't do anything. Every day, the OKC front office
was hella low. Yeah, his numbers was hella low starting out. I remember one game he had played like 20 or 30 minutes. He had 2 points. So it's I like Paul George. I don't know if they should have gave him, I think, 40 or 50 million. But like I said, I don't count nobody's pockets. Hey, if your agent negotiated you 40, 50 million dollars, hey, kudos to you. Get paid. But
teams
it's just these larger. I'm gonna say these larger contracts are making it harder to move players. Just in general, like you saw with Jimmy. Jimmy was delayed. I think Jimmy was a good pickup for Golden State, but it's hard to get 50 million off of the books. Especially, shit. Paul George just signed I think it was a 3 or 4 year extension, or 3 or 4 year deal with Philly. So it's like, I mean, they got him for 40 plus million a year, and they got Embiid for 60 million for 3 years. So how do you move that? Like, if you say Embiid got to go, how do you trade him?
I don't know if you feel it. Maybe you just hope that he can't play again. And you can get the medical retirement. Because who gonna trade for Embiid?
Nobody. I honestly, in my opinion, I think they would have to cut $60 million off of the books, but that's the only way. No one's gonna trade $60 million worth of assets for Embiid, unless it's like a fucking 5 or 16 trade or something like that where it doesn't impact the team that's getting them. But that's still $60 million that you have to pay him. So it's like, who has $60 million to get him? Because everybody's getting the bag right now from every team. So
when he go on for surgery, they just need to tell the doctor, make sure he don't play again.
They need that doctor to practice malpractice.
Yes.
I mean, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
And they need to tell him, if you do this, his salary comes off the books, we'll pay you his salary, so you don't have to worry about ever practicing being a doctor again.
Wait, so they go throw him 60? They go throw the malpractice doctor 60 mil too?
They're gonna throw him 60 mil because it won't count against the cap, because it's gonna be. I mean, it won't count against the cap, so they'll just be like, "You, 60." Hey, these teams got it. Otherwise, they won't be throwing it. So I think, so let's see if you can get him to do it. You get him to they put Embiid under, and I don't know. He just take out a ACL permanently. He can never get another ACL. And let's see here. So Joel Embiid right now, with his contract,
I think it's 3 years, 186 or something like that. Something like that.
Yeah,
somewhere around
there. So actually, the extension is upcoming. So it'll be 2026 through 2028. He'll be making $60 million a year. So you just tell the doctor, hey, if you can make it that we don't ever have to have that contract on the books, it comes up to $192 million. Just tell the doctor we'll round that up to $200 million for you. You ain't even go, and we'll cover whatever malpractice lawsuit come your way.
Okay, I mean that's the way that it makes it work.
That's how you get $60 million, not to count against you on the cap.
So wait, I wonder if you get hit with that medical retirement, if Embiid comes back and says, "Hey, I can play," how does that work?
I don't know. Because I guess if the NBA would have granted, because I vaguely remember that happened to Brandon Roy, who of course never came back to play. I imagine if the NBA would have granted you that, they'd have their team of doctors to look and say, yeah, we don't think he's coming back. And then now, I imagine if Embiid would have decided to come back, I don't think it would necessarily be a next season thing, because then the league would probably be looking at their doctor you said this was cool. But now he could come back in the year. So I don't know how it would work. If Brandon Roy, off the top of my head, is the only person I can think of. I'm sure there's probably been others.
Not as significant as him. Brandon Roy is an all-star.
Yeah, and he never did come back. So I don't know how it would work if Embiid 2-3 years later said, "Oh, you know what? I'm able to come back and play." But I mean, I don't know if you Philly. I guess if you Philly, you just hoping that. I don't know. Either you hope, the surgery brings him back, 100%, or you hope that it doesn't. And Embiid is one of those players. Like I think, like Embiid, and I know Embiid took like a lot of shit this year, but I feel like Embiid at times like he tried to get out on the court and play. Like I think in years
Yeah,
past,
I don't think I don't think he
yeah,
intentionally is doing it. I mean,
nah,
but,
like he ain't Kawhi just
yeah,
cashing checks just to cash them. Like I think if he could get out there and play,
he
he
would.
would. I don't think he doesn't strike me as somebody that's like in love with load management. Like so like but if he's really I don't know, if he can't play again then you just wasted all that money on Paul George because Paul George and Tyrese Maxey aren't gonna do it for you. Like Paul George, I looked at his numbers, he's only averaging 16 points a game, and that's probably like his lowest average in like 8 or 9 years. Like he was averaging like 20 consistently over the past 8 years or so. So it's like and Paul George, he just Paul, like I would see him doing this podcast. I'm like, dang, Philly's struggling, and you still just banging out that podcast. I guess.
No, but that's the perception,
Now,
though. That's
yeah,
really that. I mean, I think he saw it, or his people around him saw it to say, you need to slow this down because I mean, it's not like he's playing in Orlando or
yeah,
New Orleans or Utah, like where people aren't paying attention to you. Like Philly fans are
yeah.
reckless, are crazy. I mean, they went off on everybody. Like I'm just surprised. I'm surprised Embiid. I'm pretty sure Embiid is catching some of it, but there's still hope just because they know how talented. I mean, when Embiid is on the court, he's an MVP candidate every
Right.
year. So it's just I don't know. Philly fans will turn on you quickly. So you just
Yeah,
got to be
but
conscious. I mean, hell, like I like Tyrese Maxey, but honestly, I mean, I got to look at his percentages. But I mean, dude is just shooting it. Like he just like it was one game he was 10 for 32. I'm like, he's just letting it go. To miss 22 shots is a lot. But I think he's hella talented. But I mean, I think he's kind of taking the shots that other people aren't taking.
he probably like who else gonna shoot it?
Yep.
Yeah, he
Yep.
probably just having a year where he like, man, I got the green light and beat
I
us
got to
out.
get it.
This
I got to
this
get it.
bum, this
Mm-hmm.
bum Paul George. He just
Mm-hmm.
waiting for the playoffs so playoff P can come out. But playoff P is trash too. So
Mm-hmm.
um, Paul George gonna probably cite some mental health issues after the end of this season for why he was struggling.
Yeah, but that.
Paul George,
Like I said, I like George, but I don't like him. I don't like George as the leading dog. Like he's a good
yeah,
he's a good Robin.
yeah,
He's like he reminds me of Scottie Pippen. He's better than Scottie Pippen, but he reminds me
most
of
people are.
Scottie Pippen. Yeah, I mean, he reminds me that he's the type of player that if Embiid isn't playing, he's going to average. You said he's averaging 16. He's going to average 16. If Embiid is playing, he's going to average 16. It's just that's just kind of like
Yeah,
you don't see a shift in his numbers based off of like he's a talented player, but he's just going to go and get his numbers and keep going. He doesn't. You don't see like, oh shoot, Paul George goes off for 50, or Paul George goes off for 60.
nah, nah.
He's a great talent. He could hoop, and I mean he has the
Yeah,
ability to average 20 to 30 points a game, but I just don't see it. I don't see it happening in Philly anytime soon. So
nah, not at all. That's who they need to put under the knife and make sure he don't come back.
who George?
Yeah.
I mean, shit, that nigga was
So
under the knife for what, 2 years?
yeah, put him back on there and take out the ACL this time. So he
Shit,
can focus on
that
his
nigga,
podcast 100%.
that nigga damn near lost his whole leg.
He did.
So
He did. And OKC is so grateful that he wanted out. They're like, man, if your bum ass wanted to stay, we'd be stuck with you instead of having like an MVP candidate.
yeah, and shout out to Shy. I mean, do you think, or Orlando, do you think that OKC can, they're first in the West right now. Do you think that they are a true championship contender?
I mean, they could possibly make it to the finals, and then I guess like say they run in Boston. I think Boston they're still young. They got a strong bench. If they're healthy, you're talking about championship contender. But like I think Denver is a team to watch. Like I know
Mhm.
Denver's been coming on strong lately. Like I
Mhm.
think I don't know. I don't know that I'm confident they could take Denver in a 7 game series. But I think like you said, like outside of Denver, those 3, 4 teams, and Denver's not even in the top 3 or 4 in the West. Like you look at that top 3, 4 in the West, they're young. Houston, OKC, who else did we say?
Memphis.
Memphis. Like they're teams who, if they still stay in the top 3, they're all unproven. But I think outside of that, like Denver is proven. I think the Lakers, you have LeBron, so you automatically probably just say they're proven.
They got a
Luka
chance. I mean,
making them.
they
Yeah,
they 3 right now. So I mean, like Denver's 4.
yeah,
So they the top. I think it really comes down to the matchups, man. It's like
yeah.
if Denver, like you said, plays OKC, I would pick Denver on that one. If Denver plays the Lakers, I would pick Denver on that one. But if the Lakers play OKC, I could see the Lakers taking not to say that they will, but I can see the Lakers taking that series. If I see the
I
Lakers
could, but I'd
playing,
probably go with OKC. But I could see the Lakers in the 7
yeah,
game series, um, but I think OKC, like I think OKC would have a better chance at beating the Lakers than they would Denver. But
yeah,
Denver
yeah.
also their bench isn't as strong as it was championship year either. But
Hmm.
um, I mean I could see OKC making it to the finals. I wouldn't be surprised. Um, they just they're just young. Like
Yeah, that's the thing. I worry. Like I said, it like even the Lakers playing Houston. That's like Houston is young as hell. But
yeah, and I could see the
uh,
Lakers beating Houston in the 7 game series.
yeah, but you can see like Golden State coming up and beating
Yeah,
OKC. Like
yeah. Because
like
you because it was
they
the
have
other day.
they have a squad that, and I like Jimmy. Like Jimmy, even though he went through all that turmoil in Miami, like
Yeah,
or shit, damn near everywhere he played. Um, I think he
yeah,
brings a lot to the team as far as getting everybody motivated.
yeah.
Um,
You talk about that him and Curry as a 1-2 punch. I mean, the other night they can combine for 61 points. They're gonna be a threat.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
they're a pretty interesting team that you don't want
they
to
could
match up
be.
to. So,
Yeah,
like I said, you don't want to see them play like Memphis early or
mm,
OKC early. Like I feel like those could be potentially game 7, but then I think they could take the Lakers. It just depends on how the matchups end up shaking out.
right, right.
But the West is definitely what I pay. Not to say I pay more attention to them, but I think they're better games to watch in the West whenever it comes down to the playoff
Yeah,
matchups that's going to come in a couple months or within a month.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, but if you had to look at it now, like who's the face of the NBA? Because there was some debate back and forth, and LeBron was like, well, you don't want to be the face because, you get ridiculed by, reporters and stuff like that. And I kind of get what he's saying. I think it's just players are just a little bit more sensitive as far as, because it affects the money, because I remember back in the day, they say, oh, um, Jordan's a ball hog or Detroit's a rough team or Boston's dirty and blah blah blah, but it didn't affect advertising or anything like that. But now it's you can impact their livelihood as far as getting sponsorships, endorsements, etc. So how do you feel about being the face of the league, and who is the face of the league in your opinion?
I really don't know. Uh, I don't know. I
I
mean,
mean, you got Anthony Edwards, you got Jason Tatum.
probably
You can still say LeBron, but LeBron's a little bit older, so you can say Jokic. Who else? Those are the main one. Those are the main 3 outside of LeBron that I see as can be considered the face of the league or are the top players. So
it's probably
like out of
Anthony
them 3,
Edwards. Yeah,
you say
probably
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards or SGA. I think Minnesota's experienced a little bit of a backslide this year.
Mhm.
But like I think Anthony Edwards, like the personality and all of that. And I think SGA, I think it's those two really.
Mhm.
But they don't. I don't. Nobody's clear cut like LeBron was, or even say
Mhm.
like Jordan was. It's almost like a
It's
combination
ambiguous.
of players. Yeah, it'll be a combination of players. Like it could be SGA, it could be Anthony Edwards. I don't really think people like Tatum enough for him to be the face of the league.
I don't
Like,
think they like Tatum because he light skinned. Honestly.
um, that could be it, or he leaves voicemail messages on a dead person's voicemail.
I mean,
He,
but you look at what Tatum has done in the NBA so far.
yeah,
Tatum has done some dope shit. How old is he? I think he's 26,
yeah.
25,
But
somewhere around there.
he just looks soft. Look
Yeah.
like he got
I'm just saying
baby
like
hairs.
it's like light skin syndrome. It's like, because I think Anthony Edwards at the end is 22, 20, might have turned 23 already, but I know he's 22 last year. But but Anthony Edwards said he don't want it.
Give it to Jaylen Brown, a strong person, the best player on the Celtics.
Oh, Jaylen Brown's the best. I mean, that's neither here nor there. But I mean, I think they're both dope. So you
They
said
are.
Jaylen Brown over Tatum as the face of the league?
I mean, I don't like Jason Tatum, so maybe
Is
it's
it
because
because
he's light
of the
skinned.
Duke?
That can play a role, and that probably is what it is. He went to Duke. Probably not even that he's light skinned. He just went to Duke.
Mhm.
Tatum just does stuff where it's just like, man, you ain't gotta do that, man. Like you ain't gotta exhume Kobe's body to give him head, dog. You can just acknowledge that he's a good player. Like you could just like Jason Tatum Jason Tatum is the Drake of the NBA. Like he's just wildly successful. Like you can't deny the popularity, like the hits, like Drake's hits are like his stats, the numbers he puts up. He has a chip, but he
Mhm.
just do that stuff. Like Drake go out and get a random tattoo of Aaliyah. Jason Tatum go get a random tattoo of Kobe. Like Drake be Drake be going to the strip club, actually putting women through college. Like don't dance anymore. Here's your tuition for the next 4 years. Like Jason Tatum just like calls Kobe's voicemail and Kobe's been dead for 20 years and he's leaving no voicemail like, hey champ, I finally did it. I hope you're proud of me up there. Like Jason Tatum just yeah, like
He's
that's it.
talented
Jason
though.
he's
He's-
talented. And Drake is talented as well. Like,
Mhm.
and now Jason better hope like somebody like Anthony Edwards don't decide he wanted and then just turn all Kendrick on him. And then he'd be going
I
all
think
the way.
that's a good analogy. I can see Anthony Edwards being considered Kendrick. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know about
he
Drake.
be
Like
start,
that's a tough one for Drake and Tatum, but I can kind of I get what you're saying. Um,
both
I don't
light
know.
skin.
Yeah. So
Both.
if Boston wins it this year, does that change your perception of him being the Drake of the NBA, or is it just it makes it
No,
worse?
it won't. No, it won't. But
Okay.
I'll admit, but I also know that like there are certain players I just don't like, regardless of
Mhm.
their talent. Like I
Mhm.
think if Jason Tatum gets another ring, he should be considered the face of the NBA or a potential like up there. Like
Mhm.
like I said, I don't like Jason Tatum, but I don't feel that Jason Tatum has gotten the respect that he deserves for what he's done in his career. Like I
Mhm.
think you talk, I know there's Olympics and then some people talk about what it's matchups and things like this. I hear you. This dude didn't really get no burn in the Olympics.
Mhm.
Like you can't put him out there for nothing. He just gotta be a cheerleader. Like I hear it, but I don't know. Jason Tatum ain't got an Olympic game is kind of crazy
So I
because the
think the
man,
Olympics is the Olympic thing is kind of like almost weird because I feel it felt like I wouldn't say Steve Kerr is the best Olympic coach, but I felt like Steve Kerr was in panic mode where he was. It was almost like with what's your boy but he ended up winning Larry
Larry
from
Brown
2000.
when he
Yeah,
won the
Larry Brown
bronze.
2004.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you have all these great players sitting on the bench, but you just don't know how to utilize them, right? So it's like, well, shoot, I'm gonna keep Stephon Marbury, fucking Iverson, and Tim Duncan, which I thought was a fucking weird ass lineup. Like Iverson and Tim Duncan in the same starting lineup is just weird as fuck to me. You know what I'm saying? And seeing them, only coming home with the bronze, it kind of like, it kind of worked against the traditional way, a quote unquote traditional way of playing basketball, rather than just using our talent to dominate the game. Like he was trying to use X's and O's, and other teams were just far more advanced than that, as far as the European players. But I just felt like Steve Kerr saw what worked and didn't want to quote unquote break it. And it felt like when Tatum got in the game, it didn't click.
yeah, work. Yeah,
So,
that's fair. But it don't seem like he gets respect sometimes, and then other times it doesn't seem like he does. And maybe I don't know. I don't follow a lot of stuff, so it could be that like people are out here giving like Jason Tatum like verbal blowjobs, and I'm just missing it because I only watch inside the NBA. So
no, nobody fuck. I mean, people fuck with Tatum, but they don't fuck with him like that. Like Tatum could hoop. I like Tatum a lot. I think he's a dope ass player. People will say things like,
right?
I ain't light skinned, but like I give it to him that people think. You say what? Nah, nigga, that's the light that's shining on me, nigga.
You closer to Jason Tatum's complexion than Jaylen Brown's.
Nah.
Yes.
Nah,
yeah.
Nah, nigga.
No, hey man, don't fight it. It's okay to be light skinned, dog.
I mean, it is, but I mean, you can say my hands are light skinned on the opposite, but then you look on that side, it's not. Like that's just on the feet, on the feet and the bottom of the hands, man.
We'll have to take a poll one day. I mean,
I'm with it.
You're light skinned, Jason, at least.
You said I'm light skinned. So Jason came up to me, he'd be like, "Yo, what up, my light skinned brethren?"
Yeah, he might be. I mean, you might be one or two shades away from being like, if you're not light skinned, you're only like no more than 2 shades, possibly only 1 shade. Like you're probably about 6, 7 shades from being Jaylen Brown.
Oh, so wait. So is that much? It's not that much disparity between me being light skinned and me being Jaylen Brown skin.
It might be. I'm darker than you, and yes, and
you about Jaylen. You about Brown's shade.
About you said LeBron Brown?
No, Brown.
Jaylen Brown. Yeah, like I might be like 1 or 2 off, and see you might be 2 or 3 off of me. So then you throw. So now maybe you off of like 4 or 5. Let me look at Jaylen Brown.
That nigga is not that dark.
I mean, and you ain't that dark.
Nigga, I ain't light skinned, nigga. Like you can't see my veins as being green. Like if you look at that nigga, his tattoo would look way better on him than the tattoo on me. Like his tattoo would be more enunciated. My tattoo would be just on some light brown skin.
I'm looking at Jason Tatum. All right, man. You know what? I'm gonna.
That nigga light.
You might be 3, 4. You might be closer to Jaylen.
Yeah, I think I'm in the middle.
Jason Tatum. Yeah, I'll give you that because this dude is.
That nigga is light skin. That nigga put mousse in his hair. Like I'll put some shampoo in there every now and then, but that nigga put mousse in his hair to keep his hair up.
This guy, his mom, his grandmother was the daughter of a slave owner.
Mm-hmm.
And then his grandma then had another baby, had her baby with a slave owner.
Damn.
So then Jason Tatum's mom was a slave on was
A granddaughter of a slave owner?
Yeah, so then Jason Tatum's mom also got impregnated by a slave owner.
Damn.
So now Jason Tatum is just super light because he has
slave
like
owner?
whiteness. Yeah, he just has slave owner blood running through him. That's how light he is. Jason Tatum looked like Thomas Jefferson as his great granddaddy.
He might be. I don't know if you saw that picture of Thomas Jefferson's I forgot what it was, but it was a black dude that took a picture that was supposed to be mimicking his great grandfather or whatever tier of father he was to him, of that picture on a dollar. What's Thomas Jefferson on? He's on a dollar. What is he on? Is it a dollar?
Is it the $2 bill?
I think it might be the $2 bill. I can't remember.
I can't remember if he's on the coin.
Mm-hmm.
Might be on the nickel. Is he on nickel?
And then he on some form of currency. So let me ask you this: back to Luka, do you think that they have a chance at doing anything with the Lakers as far as championship
this year?
Mm-hmm.
Or Nah, I don't think so. Like I think, I mean, if the matchups, I guess, went that way, like if they could somehow get into a matchup where I guess maybe they avoid OKC and Denver, like I could see them beating Houston. Like but then they get to the finals. I think whoever will come out of the East, they wouldn't have a shot against.
I think they could beat New York. I don't think New York's coming out the East. I think they could beat New York. I think that they could beat Cleveland. I don't think that they have no chance against Boston.
I don't know if they could beat Cleveland in a 7-game series.
And that'd be crazy if that was Cleveland in the Lakers. That'd be crazy just to see LeBron go up against the older team.
So I'm thinking Cleveland, like you got Mobley and who's the other young boy?
They dope down low.
Yeah,
I would like. It's weird with me. Like I guess that had to be a part of the trade. But if I was the Lakers, I would have tried to find some way to keep Max Christie. But I mean, because he's playing like really damn good, and it's not even like Dallas really needs him. Like I mean, he's a great talent, and Dallas is utilizing him. But I mean, if they could have found some way to keep him,
they thought they was gonna get Mark Williams. Probably.
But you see, he arguing now, trying to like, why did I fail the physical type of, I don't know. That shit just weird to me. Like, I mean, but I think his numbers was like 19-7, and you got to kind of question why would they be trading him? There's got to be something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, but it's still, what's due connect. It still felt.
Yeah,
I would feel kind of awkward that I got traded, about to suit up, and then I had to go back. But I actually like Connect. I think he could hoop.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. He's not a bad player.
Yeah, but you don't want to mess with the player's psyche that young in their career though, too. Yeah. It's like, well, shoot, y'all want me? Now I gotta play for y'all hoes. So
it happened to Ori, and he ended up with 6 chips. So maybe Connect is gonna win.
Ori got 7.
Yeah, maybe Connect is gonna win 7. Dr. Connect, 7 chips.
Wait, Ori got traded his rookie year? No, I
don't know if it was rookie year, but it was early. It was early in his career.
Yeah, he got traded after the 1995 championship because he ended up in Phoenix. Right?
No, I'm talking about the Detroit trade. Remember that bum ass Sean Elliott. It was supposed to be Sean Elliott.
Oh, that trade. Oh,
yeah, that was Sean Elliott did the whole my kidneys don't work. Detroit can't trade me. And then Ori went back to Houston. And I think they went on to win a championship. I don't know if it was that year. I think it was that year or the next year.
So that was 94-95 because they won 93, 94, 94, 95. Because what's his name? Who you say? What's the dude from San Antonio? Sean Elliott. Oh, yeah, because Sean Elliott ended up. Wait, I could have saw that was like late. That wasn't late 90s?
It was 1994.
Damn. So they was gonna trade him his rookie year?
Apparently so. Was that his rookie
No, because
year?
I remember Sean Elliott vetoed the trade, but then he went back to San Antonio and won the
He didn't veto
championship.
the trade. Yeah, he failed the physical.
Yeah, but
and then San Antonio came back in the offseason and said they take him. And so Detroit and the Dennis Rodman, ultimately they ended up with some dude. I used to remember his name. Some journeyman player ultimately ended up being what Detroit got for Dennis Rodman. Because originally they got Sean Elliott. They tried to move Sean Elliott. He failed the physical, something about his kidneys or something. So Robert Horry went back to Houston. And then I don't know if it was later that in the offseason, I think San Antonio took him. I can't remember. San Antonio might have waived the physical, and then Robert Horry had to do the little surgery. Then he came back and won a championship or two with San Antonio after fleecing Detroit.
Some reason I felt that was much later. The only reason I'm saying that is because Sean Elliott won a championship with San Antonio.
Yeah. After he went back.
But that was like 99.
Yeah, he went back to San Antonio like 95.
All right. I guess.
We ain't got to guess. We got to Google.
Google that shit. I mean, it's cool. So moving on to something else. Not mentioning LeBron Jordan or Isaiah, who's your favorite players and why?
Dennis Rodman, the player we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, October 1st, Detroit traded Dennis Rodman for Sean Elliott. Because he played with high energy. I only liked him when he was with the Pistons. I didn't care for him when he went to the Bulls. But that's when I first started watching the Pistons. He was high energy. Felt like he was in some ways the heart of the team. Like he played hard, played with his muscles on his sleeve, on his shoulders, or whatever you call that. I like Iverson. I feel like Iverson is somewhat self-explanatory. He just came in like playing the way he wanted to play. Kind of had that little, or in that hip hop culture, played the game like not necessarily. He played the game on his terms, but he also like off the court stuff. He did things on his terms. Like he did the cornrows, he did the tattoos, he did that. Like he did what he wanted to do. Like he didn't succumb to like maybe corporate pressure or anything like that. Like I think there was even at one point the NBA airbrushed his tattoos off of some NBA magazine, which he wasn't too happy about. But like Iverson was just always just kind of authentic. I liked KG when he was in Minnesota a little bit, but then he went to Boston and he just became a bully unnecessarily. I like Sheed. I like Sheed even before he came to Detroit. Like I thought Sheed was just a player who I think Sheed just like the hoop. Like I think Sheed probably could have been like a 22, 23 point scorer a game if he wanted to. Like I remember it was a Slam magazine I ever had. And that's when the Lakers and Portland were going up against each other in the playoffs. And Kobe in the magazine said something like, he was like, there's a way that Rasheed Wallace could stop us. I mean, could be unstoppable against us. And the interviewer asked him, what is it? He was like, well, I can't tell you because I'll tell you. She might mess around and start doing it. And like, but she, like, to me, like, she didn't really take the game too seriously to me. Like, as far as like we're out, like, she loved the hoop. But I don't think she just liked hooping. Like she wasn't concerned about being a superstar. She was just like, man, I'm gonna just go out and hoop. And like she to me probably looked at like his teammates. Like she didn't look at it as like, hey, I'm all the way up here and I'm the superstar and y'all right here. She to me was almost seemed like she was just like, shit, we all in this together. We all just like hooping. And so
that's cool. If I was to have mine, I would say Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf was one of my favorite ones. I used to love to see him shoot. It was Shaq. I like Shaq a lot. I feel like the rules changed around Shaq where, I feel like Shaq could have probably won more championships if he was, not to say if he got along with people, but if he was more receptive to people's, opinions about him, if that makes sense. But Shaq could have easily been, I still don't like he'll say he's the most dominant ever, but I still don't put him above Wilt. I mean, Wilt, even not watching Wilt, because hell, I mean, just age difference, but or even the times, but looking at Wilt numbers and people say, well, they only played against a small sample size or they played in the 60s and 70s. It's like, well, getting 50 points on anybody is just crazy. Like just 50 and 25, like playing a game of 21 and you could be the best player playing 21. It's kind of hard to, you may win the game, but other people are going to score too. And just to see somebody that dominant and that big and his footwork was just crazy. Only thing that you can say that didn't work in his favor was being overweight at times. And, he used that to his advantage too. But Shaq was just a dope ass player. I like Grant Hill a lot until he started getting caught with the injuries. I felt like at one point in time he was the face of the league. He was the best player, that I was watching, not just because of being a Pistons fan, but just how great he was and how quick his first step was. He was just a really good player. Probably outside of Kyrie, probably the only Duke player that I, like really liked. But outside I would say Grant Hill, but that's probably a fair amount. Of course, there's current players. You got your Durant, who I really like a lot, but he's kind of wasting in Phoenix right now. But who else I would put current? I like Anthony Edwards a lot. He's young. I want to see that Minnesota team, be able to put it together. But I feel like I don't like to say, oh, well, I mean, you have a roster. Like within your roster, you figure it out. Like you can say, hey, I'm one piece away all the time, but Anthony Edwards is just a dope ass player, and he's very explosive and he's very charismatic when it comes to the game. So
I really like Jokic. I really like Jokic. Like I started watching him the year they won the championship. I just think he plays the game, but he makes it. It don't look like he should dominate the game in which he dominates. And like I just like his personality. That like I think Jokic were a lot of players at that age. Like I guess I don't know, like they don't like their lives revolve around basketball, and that's not it for Jokic. Like I think when he found out he was going to have to be here for the parade instead of going home and doing what he do with his horses, he was a little bit upset. Like I kind of like that because
it's like I showed up to work. I did my work.
Did my work. I can go chill. Yeah, and like I think like and it's not a knock on the players that just take ball seriously, and like it kind of. I think as some of them get older, they realize it's not necessarily about that. But like I think Jokic, I don't think if Jokic would have won if Jokic hadn't won a championship, I don't think Jokic would care. Like I don't think Jokic would care that he has these MVPs, but he makes the game look so effortless. Like what he does is just like you just look at him and he just at times just like he just toying with you. Like he'll just have the ball at the top of the key or at the top of the 3-point line, and he just directing the offense like it's crazy. Like Jokic might be out this current generation. Jokic might be my favorite player.
Jokic is dope. I mean, what's his name? That played with him. That used to play for University of Kentucky.
Jamal
guard.
Murray.
Yeah, Jamal Murray. Right. I mean, like Jamal Murray. If Denver is clicking, they will win it. If Jamal Murray is clicking, Jokic is clicking, they will win it. I mean, I just really like that team. And as you said with Jokic, man, Jokic is dope because it's like the stuff that Jokic do, it looks effortlessly done to me. Where he's a like I looked at some standings a couple of days ago. He's back into the running as far as the MVP leader. It's like Jokic does things that, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't see no way that they don't give it to SGA, but I wouldn't be mad if they gave it to Jokic. Like they are competing every single year, and minus injuries and as you said earlier, with the bench being a little bit thin this year compared to winning the championship, they are still a threat, and that's just what it is. I mean, every single year, like I said, I think Murray was hurt a couple years ago, and I can't remember what happened last year, but as far as their roster, but they were still competing, to be to win it. So,
like I said, when Murray gets to clicking, because the year they won it, they were just clicking. Like Murray, that 2-man game they're running. Like I think Murray at times is a little maybe inconsistent at times. Like, and I don't know that's always about injury. Sometimes it's like, where I think Jokic is just like always on. Like I think Murray necessarily isn't always on, but I think they go. I think it's like they need Jokic, but they need Murray too. Like I think you need the two of them to be playing at the top of the game for them to win. Like you said, if they get back to how they were playing when they won the championship, like that 2-man game, and Murray's just like, he's having this nights where he's like giving you 25, 30. Nah, they're gonna be a hard out. Like they're gonna be.
You got Russell that's thirsty. Russell is really like, so they have a team. I like Aaron Gordon too. I mean, they really have some people that really, are going to push hard on these other teams and make them struggle and make it difficult for them to beat them. So
and benches get shorter in the playoffs. So like they seem to be thin, but if they can go 7-8 deep, that might be enough. I know they got. I don't know Chris. I don't know. I think it was Christian Braun. I don't know if he starts now or not.
You talking about Braun?
Braun, yeah, Braun.
Yeah, I think he's still coming off the bench, but I mean, you still got Michael Porter. I mean, they really got like there's the top four, with Porter, Jokic, Murray, and Gordon. I mean, it's like, after that they just,
No, but I was saying it's hard to beat them. Like that four is clicking. Yeah, and if you have Russell, who's like Russell seems to be playing like you said, he's probably hungry to win, but like Russell has been playing like I think I was just before we started, I was looking at the NBA tip off from Thursday. I think he's only averaging like 12 points a game. He might be averaging around 7-8 assists. But like Kenny Smith was all saying, like he's shooting 50%. He's shooting close to 50%. I think like 48. He was like, so he's being efficient with the ball. Like I think so. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. Well, cool. All right. Well, thanks, Ed, for jumping on the podcast. Appreciate you for being able to jump in on, and we'll talk to everyone soon. Make sure you sign up, subscribe to.
Thanks for letting me hop on, Sean.
Nah, man, you dope, man. Like keep it going.
You're dope. You're dope too.
Thank you.
Go
I
ahead,
appreciate
finish your plugs.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, dick sucker. All right, y'all. Thank you all for attending and appreciate it. Hopefully, y'all can catch the next podcast when we load it up. Talk to you soon. Bye.